Okay, today is Monday, May 14th, and the plan for today is to use our weather information. The information that we've been taking all year and just finally put into a big Excel file. So here's my weather log information saved to my desktop. You should have yours in your file folder or maybe on a flash drive, or you've been emailing it to yourself. Whatever the case, open it up. Now before we get started with graphs, we just want to do a quick run through and make sure all of our information seems to be correct. We had a few days where we didn't enter information in for certain categories, like November 16th. It was extremely cold that day, so we didn't have some of the info that we needed as far as humidity and dew point and stuff. So I just asked you to leave that blank. If you place an X in there, or if you put just like a minus sign, that may mess with your information, so I would just leave that blank. If there's anything else that looks a little strange, look at your times. Sometimes your times change format, or sometimes they're easy to, like in this case, it's 1742 and what I meant was 542, so I just mixed it up with military time. Make sure all your numbers appear to be correct. We had late start days, so that throws off our time, but that's right. And once it does appear to be correct, then you can get started. Make sure you save it first. I'm going to click on File, Save. Okay, so today we're doing sunrise and sunset versus the date, or the time of year. To begin this, I'm going to select my date. You can click on the letter at the top of the column and that'll select that entire column. Sometimes that messes things up a bit with information, so I'm going to take just the way that I know is going to work. So I click on date, drag all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to hold the command key on my keyboard, click on sunrise, and do the same thing for sunrise. Now I can probably drag it right next to it and select sunset just by doing this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep my thumb on command key on the keyboard, and I'm going to select the sunset. Again, this is just to make sure that it works and I don't have any issues with it. Okay, so now I have all of this selected, all three columns, date, sunrise, and sunset. I'm going to go to my charts. In this case, we want to go for a scatter plot. A scatter plot is located over here on the right, and we don't want to connect the points. We just want random dots associated with dates and times, and so I'm going to click on this portion, just a marked scatter. We don't have lines connecting it, just marks. And here's my chart. Now sometimes you will get the sunrise and sunset plotted. In this case it did not plot my sunrise, and so if you got both pieces of information plotted, then great, good for you. You don't have to do this next part, but if it ended up doing what mine did, all you have to do is go up to chart, add data, and it gives you a range, or basically what cells you want to add to it. And I'm just going to click on my sunrise, and I know my graph is still there, but it lets me scroll right behind it and select all this information. So I'm going to select all my information under sunrise again. And ask me if that's what I want. Yes, it is. And now when I scroll back up and look at my chart, there's my information plotted on it. Now I look at the times along the side, and at the top it goes up to 0. That's okay. The times along the side are correct as far as military time is concerned, and along the bottom that's not correct. So what I want to do is I'm going to select it, double click it, and I can tell that it's formatting this portion because now it still has that box going around it. And I'm going to choose a number. So it's just giving me a whole number, but this is supposed to be the date because we're going throughout the year. And so I need to unclick linked to source, and it will open up these for me to click on. So I'll choose date, whatever format I want, which I'm going to go with this. I will choose to link it back to source, and okay. Now for my times along the side, I'll double click so that I can reformat this. And my only issue with this is that I would like for it to show more lines in between, because it's going from 1424 to 1648. That's almost 2.5 hours there, so there's quite a bit of time. So I will choose my scale, minimum 0, maximum 1. You have to keep in mind the format of this. It's a day and 24 hours because it's time, and leave it at 1. It doesn't make much sense, but that's how you have to do it. For my major unit, I can decrease that. Oops. Down to 0.5. No. 0.05. That's what I wanted. Down to 0.05, and I can see behind that it's going to put in a lot more time. So it goes every hour and 12 minutes. If I want, I could probably stretch that out even less. 0.03, and it seems tight here, but I'm going to make this larger so it's not so tight. I'll go ahead and click OK. Now what I can do is I can stretch this out a bit, and as I see those numbers start to stretch out from one another, creating a little more space in between it. Now going back to our 10 essential elements to a graph, we're missing quite a bit. And I need a title at the top. I need to format my x-axis and my y-axis. Maybe I don't like how this is plotted on here, so I'm going to go back and change the colors. What we end up with here, though, with this graph is we have missing sections. These missing sections are actually supposed to be there. I know it seems like there's a big step up there and here and there. For one, we're missing time during Christmas break, so that changes our data here. For two, we had daylight savings time, and so daylight savings, we're going to see a big jump for our numbers, and that's where we end up seeing this right here, daylight savings. Once you're finished with this portion, and you've filled in all of your title information and made it look nice and pretty, you can hold the control key and click on your graph and click Save as Picture. Name it whatever you want. Maybe I'll put time versus sunrise versus sunset. And I want to make sure my location that I save it is to my desktop. And I'll save it there. Now what I want you to do with it at this point is it's saved just as a picture on my desktop. I can click it, I can open it up, and again, this graph isn't the graph that we want. It doesn't look as nice as I would like for it to look, but yours is going to look perfect at this point. I'll go up to File, Print, and you'll want to print this off down to the library. So you can click Printer, and you should have Printer 14 pop up for you. That's down in the library. Once you click Print, make sure you go down and grab it in the library and write your name on the back side of the paper, so when you turn it in, I know whose it is. At that point, you'll turn it into me, and you're finished up.